What's up?
Just think you just wake up to that every morning. You realize that?
What? What did you just say?
I said that was a shocker because it just like popped into existence, and I said that that's a shocker, and it's amazing that you wake up to that every morning.
Oh, or that. Wow. You want to say hi to
Hello.
Randy? Hi, Randy. Hello, Randy. Okay, now go away. See ya. Okay.
Okay, what?
Woof.
Let's see. View my profile. What's this thing? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, can you see me all right?
I can see you all right. Can you see me all right? There you go.
Uh,
Yeah, there it is.
all right.
Better framing.
Yeah. What's happening, Leanne?
What's happening?
Huh?
It's all happening right now.
Oh, good.
It's all happening right now.
I'm glad you're reporting from Manhattan because I'm reporting from the moon.
Oh wow, and I can see the lunar landscape in the window behind your head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because that's what it
the
is. It's a
window.
window behind your head.
That's a painting I did in Santa Fe years ago. So
No, it's the lunar landscape outside the window.
yeah,
Stop ruining it.
yeah, yeah. It has about as much definition as the cameras in use on the what do you call Artemis? Wasn't that named after one of those goddesses?
Artemis, out of a Greek god,
Artemis.
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 Yeah.
And I think we should thank these people for the burden of taking all the Epstein files to the moon to where they can't be accessed and that they can fade from human memory, kind of like Stanley Kubrick. How's that?
Well,
So,
we can just add it to the other space junk that's floating around, like our trash. We've left how many tons of trash? Just
oh,
what's
yeah,
another
yeah.
couple pounds of files?
I
Right.
think it's appropriate. They put all the files in trash bags, throw them on a rocket, to take four people to make sure that they get there,
What
right?
about some body parts from missing people? Are they taking any of those too?
No, they
Too
probably pile.
messy?
I think they pile those up underneath the rockets when they fire, so they have instant cremation.
Sure, that's
Yeah,
good.
right.
Cremation, obliteration.
Yeah, yeah. So see, they have many purposes, and I think they're fulfilling a lot of them, including faking out everybody with these cameras. And the whole thing about it is they have to introduce enough uh, fakery to cause controversy. Otherwise, it's just another drive-by shooting. Okay.
Yeah, nobody cares about those anymore.
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, just drive by the moon and shoot a few photos and like call it a day, right? And there went another $200 billion, right?
I saw something about how in the past 5 years they've spent, I don't know, $5 billion on homeless in California when there's actually enough space and they could have spent a third the amount just buying like a tiny house community for all the homeless people and put them, there's land and it would have
Oh, yeah.
been
No.
so much less expensive to do that. They'd have had the money to keep it going this whole time and
Yeah.
probably still left over. But they
Right.
would rather cry whack stories to make everybody start arguing over whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans when it's really just to make us all crazy and argue and waste
Right.
money.
Yeah. I
Waste.
mean,
Wasting our energy and wasting the money.
yeah. I'd like to start a GoFundMe for GoPro 4 or 5 cameras that they could have put on the shuttle and they could have got excellent footage in 5K, 8K, how many Ks you got to put there. And instead, now they just go with the old like gun sight cameras.
You put 3K.
That's Yeah, too funny. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious, right? So we're so proud of ourselves for spending billions of dollars for a drive-by shooting. And we're serving notice to the world that we're so freaking rich we can afford to do that. How's that?
Well, I guess if we're doing drive-by shootings on the moon, that like maybe it could be a sequel to all of the drive-by shooting movies that there are out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think we should film the sequel, right? And we'll just call it Gangbangers and Politicians on the Moon. How's that?
What's the difference?
How well armed they are.
Oh, okay. Because they all have that kind of dead glaze, that look,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
when there's a really good actor, because I'm not going to see this up close and personal ever, at least I hope
yeah,
not. But they get that glazed over where they just don't even care and they hold the gun up and they just with the dead look,
yeah.
nothing there.
And you know,
I can't do
the
it.
the the Democrats are the blue, is that right? And the
They're blue
Republicans,
elephants and the other ones are like red alligators or something. I
the
don't know,
red. We
donkeys.
have,
No, one of them's
the,
a donkey and one of them's an elephant.
yeah, blue and the red. Isn't there a couple of gangs in LA that like
Yeah, the
some
Crips and
were
the
blue?
Bloods. So
Yeah, they
what's
were
the
blue and
difference?
red, right? So I think we're exporting terrorism to the moon.
Well,
And
why don't we just rename, you know how they're like renaming the Gulf of America and like we should
yeah,
just rename the moon like Little Compton on the moon.
how about Little America?
Mm.
We could spell it with a K, Little America. How's that?
Well, with a Kuh maybe.
Or we could make
AMUR.
we could make Erica the Queen of the
Oh,
Moon.
no, then I'm not going. I'm staying here. If that happens, I'm staying right here. And all of them can bye and
Yeah.
leave us this nice place that could be nice without them.
So anyway, Operation what do they call it? Epic Fantasy is still in play,
Epic
right?
meowery.
Yeah. Epic Fantasy.
Take thee to the meowery. Oh,
Yeah. And
Hamlet.
and then they threaten Iran, and then they uh, have a Bohica movement, and then they do it again and a Bohica, and you can look up Bohica, Bohica, because it's a military term that's appropriate for the current plan of attack. How's that?
Wonderful.
Yeah. And of course, snafu and foobar come into the equation later.
Well, Bohica, that reminds me of 16 Candles, where Getty Watanabe calls calls the fiance a greasy
Mhm.
bohunka. It could be, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all a big comedy of errors, and we're paying for it. It's fun.
Yeah.
I like
Just
it.
remember, our hunk Trump is bigger than your hunk, whoever that is over there. And the thing that bothers me, they talk about running out of ammunition on our side, right? You know, did you ever think that heaven may be running out of virgins on their side, right? I mean, think about it, right? You just take the body count and multiply by 47, at some point, right? I think you're going to exceed the capacity of heaven. Now, that's my opinion. Right?
Is that how they do math
If,
over? Like, is that
if we're not there already, I think that we're getting there very quickly. So there.
that's like a word equation for little
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Like 47 and then one train goes south, the other one goes west, and then they crash and they're going how many miles an hour with the 47 virgins and I don't know, something.
Yeah. Well,
Math equation.
it's kind of like that childhood song of picking up posies and popping them on the head, and there's another 47 virgins,
That's
right?
just little bunny foo-foo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little bunny foo-foo hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and popping them on the head.
Yeah, that's right.
And the fairy came and told him, "Don't do that."
Yeah, I think they could have incorporated that into the White House egg hunt,
Wasn't it?
right?
Wasn't the wasn't the end of it? She kept threatening to turn him into a goon, and then wasn't the moral of the story today, here today, goon tomorrow?
I think it is.
I think that
And
was it. I don't
and
know.
I'm surprised that the Chinese haven't insisted on the what do they call it? Egg hunt, White House egg hunt. Haven't petitioned to have it changed into the White House egg roll. There we go.
That is so racist.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's got to get a day in somewhere, right?
Oh my God.
Dark side of the moon day. Dark side of the moon day,
That's where
right?
you hide the three Ks on the hard side,
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
side
And
of
what
the.
happens in the dark? We don't know. We
Yeah,
don't know. There's
probably like,
three men and one woman up there
three men and one woman. Like one
on the
woman,
dark
why
side
does
of the,
what you can call a woman like if you're really a misogynist and a total jerk, that's what you refer to a singular woman as one woman because you'll go to pray and go to church and swear that she's like seven different people and I never know which one's coming. So yeah,
uh, yeah,
probably
I like it. I like it.
misogynist version of.
Anyway, I think we can look forward to more moonshots where we dispose of additional Epstein files and people and anything associated with all that.
I don't know, man. You take people up to the moon to hide them, they start floating because gravity is not the same,
Yeah.
right? Like you got to
Yeah.
tether them down like balloons at the zoo. Remember that? The little balloons, the little Mickey Mouse balloons with the clear balloon around it, and they would tie it around your, and then it would
Oh
fly
yeah.
away, and then it would be a sad times, and then you were
Yeah.
warned, so you're not getting another one. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Tears, tears,
Well,
tears. Uh-oh.
you just had to look around and keep track of your kids that way. Yeah.
Well,
I
that's why
always
they
thought
make
a cinder block.
harnesses.
I thought a cinder block would work better than a harness, but that's my opinion. You
Well,
could, you didn't have to worry about them running away or running too fast that way. Blink and they're gone. Nah, tie a cinder block to them. Oh my gosh. I had a song. I came up with a song for Iran, right?
yeah.
If I had a missile, I'd fire it in the morning, I'd fire it in the evening, I'd fire it at supper time
Okay.
and ring out freedom, right?
Oh my goodness.
Right? It's a
I
good
got,
song,
I want
right?
to
I
go get my
think they should,
tambourine. You're
huh?
making me want to go across the room and get my tambourine right now.
Yeah, yeah. Just think what a great song that would be for them to play as an intro to
You
every
know
time
what?
they deny that there's a deal on the table and Mr. T is making it all up, right?
Where's Godzilla? That's just what I keep asking. When is Godzilla gonna come?
Well, they
When's
invited
Godzilla coming?
the Japanese handlers of Godzilla and they refused, so there you go. Yeah.
Because they don't want to tarnish Godzilla with our nonsense. Like we are losing friends by the second.
Uh,
It's bad.
I don't know. Anyway, I love our song, right? Let's see.
What
Hitler
else?
had
Here
to
you
go.
got notes?
No,
What are
that's
you
another
doing over
song.
there?
Huh?
You got notes over there? You got
Yeah, I got,
notes? You're
yeah,
cheating?
because there's things that are happening like some guy named Kent went on, the Sean Ryan show and for 2.5 hours dissed, our Lord and Savior. And it was a psyop because the more you diss somebody like that
The more
and
attention they actually get,
the more attention they get and the more people like them because we don't like bullies picking on people, right?
which is
We
like
don't
they're
like,
playing to psychology, and the whole thing is like the psychology of the psychology, and then they're all playing with our psychology.
yeah,
And like, at what point do we just, zzz,
yeah, yeah. Our bully is bigger than their bully. So that's all you need to know. And
Does
then
he
when
eat
somebody
kennel
comes,
ration?
huh?
Does he eat kennel ration?
It might. So the Kent guy doesn't look like a big enough bully to bully the bully. So I don't think that anything really came out of that, you know. It's kind of like asking somebody after a divorce what they thought of their former partner, we'll call it. Right?
Well, depending on how graceful and
Let's see
look,
what.
it's something you told me is if you
Mm,
treat it all like entertainment, like the more traumatizing it is, the more like psychologically that's a good psyop to do on yourself. But the thing
but
is that it sometimes can, on the receiver end, it comes off as you being cavalier when there's nothing cavalier about it. It's self-preservation,
yeah,
which only indicates how crazy things are that you would have to go to that length to preserve yourself in the first place. So it all just goes back to demonstrating
yeah.
the things I try to
I,
demonstrate.
I just I just have a problem in that there was not one redneck on that moon mission because what if you ran into aliens, right?
There's
And
no
if you
shotgun.
and if you had a run-in with aliens without a redneck in your immediate vicinity, I would think that you are, let's see, how do they saw strategically impaired for any advancement, right? In
Danger, Will
interstellar,
Robinson. Danger.
yeah,
Danger.
interstellar relations. That's correct, right? So, so they went up there without a redneck. I have a problem with that. I think there are plenty of people in Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and possibly parts of Tennessee and Kentucky if there's some still left there.
Wow.
And of course, West Virginia, right?
Manassas?
So, yeah. So if we take
I got cousins in Manassas.
anybody, huh?
I got cousins in Manassas.
Really?
I do.
Yeah,
The
that's
shunned side of the celebrities, the vaudeville family. One decided to defect and had babies in the South, and they all had lots of babies. But that's
yeah.
not what we do when we're in the entertainment business. We stay civil and we stay up north, and we have one child or two, maybe, but usually just one
Yeah.
because we're off being superior to the civilians who are all down in the south.
Yeah.
My
Well,
family was twisted like that.
it's
Civilian.
impolite to have more than one child at dinner. Yeah, Hollywood should figure that out, right?
I don't know. There's so many ways I could take having one child at dinner, and then that
Yeah.
turns into a
Two is gluttony. We'll just throw it out there. Unless you're, who's that? Ann Hex partner. Anyway,
oh, Anne Hedge. Are you
yeah.
talking about well, it's not her partner anymore.
What
She
is
was
it?
she was with Ellen DeGeneres for a long time. And
Oh, yeah, degenerate. I knew it was somebody like that.
wow, you're just ripping them all a new
Yeah,
place
I
tonight.
think we need to get all of it out there.
I
It's
think
all
you're wound up. What they
well.
put? Do you have some crazy ice cream? Were you out there making
No, it's just psyop season, right?
Oh, I
It's
see.
the we went to the moon. Dear old Ali Lonzo the Little,
Louis,
Ali Lonzo the Little. That's his title.
Ali Lonzo.
Uh, he fell down and Humpty Dumpty, and they got tried to put him back together, and we'll see how that worked. So,
I really hope they don't come and take you and try to lock you up after this episode.
well,
Wow, that was a
uh,
lot.
I don't think they can because we support Donald J. Trump, our Lord and Savior, And if you don't believe it, some people have already called him the Antichrist, and some of them have called him the Christ. And he even, I think he compared himself like, you know, when he
Oh, he
got shot,
did.
it
He
didn't
did.
take him 3 days to come back. Man, he was there like that, right?
That's right. He was insinuating that Jesus is lame because it took him 3 days when Donald Trump got shot in the head and was up in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Jesus is lame and Donnie's not.
yeah. That just shows that 2,000 years of evolution are on display on our TVs all the day long.
I'm still saying if Earth split into two, we did something bad to be here. Because the other ones, I can't imagine
Yeah,
the other one's any worse.
yeah. Ask us Indians, right?
My friend Linda's always saying, look, you should never have gone and gotten me drunk at the Galactic Bar and convinced me to go down there, girl, because now we're stuck.
Well,
Yep.
I just want to set up a bar on the moon,
Do you?
right? Yeah.
Well, they had an illegal bar on the moon in For All Mankind. I think it was like season 3. This guy, Ilya, a Russian guy, was like doing the bootleg stuff in the little room on the
Oh,
side. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they were actually putting people and transporting people to the moon. This North Korean guy who defected got his wife
Well,
shipped.
it's uh it's one of those things that we can only hope that they get a representative sample of humanity once they find and establish a moon base house there.
Okay.
Now,
What's to say they haven't already? And it's been there since
well,
the 70s.
because then we wouldn't be going to put a base. We would be going there to see the troglodytes because everybody knows troglodytes live under bridges and caverns on the moon, right? I
Do they
remember
make
my
you answer
stories.
riddles before
How,
they let you come past?
remember they used to say tricks are for kids or kids are for tricks or tricks kids are for trolls. There we go.
You know,
See, I have all that programming from when I was a kid.
tricks are for trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with the wacky packages do you remember the
Yeah.
wacky
Yeah.
packages? That's right.
Yeah. And you think about all the food dyes that they put into all those. That's why
Oh, my
some,
friend, my friend, the one who's kind enough to offer me space to put a camper if things go south. Um, she uh she sent me an article on how they make red dye number 5, and there's this little teeny tiny bug that
yeah,
when you smash it, it gets bright red, and that's what all your red stuff is like. Red licorice is bugs. So
yeah,
Klaus Schwab's already, he's got a head start, I guess is what I'm saying, because it's always been.
yeah. It accumulates along the spine and the blood-brain barrier, and we don't know what goes on in there.
Well, I don't know. Dr. Stephen Gundry on YouTube tells us that everybody like who's our age probably has about a plastic spoon's worth of microplastics in our brains.
Well, everybody knows plastics are forever, so what's wrong with that?
Well, maybe that was like the first and failed attempt at keeping people alive longer, is putting plastic in them to make them more
Oh,
resilient.
I think the current longevity is directly related to the amount of preservatives that have been put on our food since the 50s.
Well,
Yeah, before
probably
the
the amount
50s,
of
we didn't have
cancer,
it.
like, but how much cancer to how much preservation? Like, is there a rate ba-
Yeah, well, you got to get the right ones, right?
Well, what makes I mean, this is it, like a Snickers bar. 100 people can eat a Snickers bar. One's going to go into a diabetic coma. The other one's going to cling to the ceiling for a while, and the other one's not going to feel nothing. Like everybody metabolizes things differently. So I guess one person's plastic spoon is another person's like death knell. I don't know.
All I know is that
What I'm
I
trying to say.
started working on construction sites when I was about 12 years old. And every day at 4 o'clock, most people get off work, let's say on construction job, 3:30 or 4. And my dad would bring my brother and I a Snickers bar and a Dr. Pepper. And we would sit there and eat that and work for another 2 hours. Right? We
I
didn't
could,
get to leave till 6:30.
dude, I wasn't pounding sodas with candy bars, but I could pound three, like a Twix and a Snickers followed by a Milky Way, no problem. One right
Yeah.
after the other.
We kind of alternated through the galaxy of Baby Ruth, Snicker bars. Uh, what's the peanut butter one?
Reese's peanut butter
Butterfingers.
cups?
Butterfingers.
Butterfingers.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Butterfinger. You know
Butterfingers.
what? Butterfingers is basically this like Scottish crunch toffee stuff. You can
Yeah,
make it with oh God, what was it? Baking so there's baking soda involved and like baking and then it crackles it and then it comes back like lava. And then you just chop it into pieces and then put it in chocolate and it's like having a Cadbury Crunchy bar.
there you go.
Yeah, it's really actually easy to make. You can look it up online.
My all-time favorite though, somebody invented like tricks are for kids, and they looked at those little bitty all multicolored things and said, damn, let's make them pop in your mouth, right?
Pop
Pop
Rock.
rocks. Oh my. Now that was brilliant. You couldn't just have, cereal. You had the one that was causing explosions in your mouth and accompanied with noise, right? And so we were beat for, making too much noise when we were eating until Pop Rocks came along. And then that was perfectly normal, right? The death of society, Pop Rocks and Kick Surfer Trigs, trolls, whatever.
I will kick the troll and
And
trick
what
kids.
and what happened to put a tiger in your tank? I mean, is that misogynistic or what? I don't know.
Put a tiger in your tank.
Frosted Flakes, Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, no, they're great. And then he does that with his.
Yeah,
I've had enough of people doing that with their fists. I really
yeah,
at my
yeah.
limit.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, yeah, we found out lately that Hitler was genetically
Impaired.
deformed in certain body parts.
Well, you've got to
Uh,
make up for things in all kinds of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and below the waist, and then we have to acknowledge that that may be a tradition in the world leaders, except for the ones we like, and we would never cast aspirations on any of them. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would we do that? That's not nice.
See, we have all these research projects that people could fund and basically end up with FUN instead of FUND with their money, right? Right.
Yeah, they could.
So
They
if you're
could.
looking for fun, give us a
Call
call.
Randy.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Call Randy.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
tired.
Putin just put out a book that basically says that all the world leaders except him are like, vampires, reptilians, and baby eaters, and cigar smokers, and a few other odds and ends.
Wait,
Right?
I have a question. Do they smoke the cigar before or after they eat the baby?
I don't know. It's like, what is the appropriate pairing we could ask for all our onophiles? Is that right? Onophiles, the wine people, right? And find out what would be the appropriate pairing for that type of dinner. How's that? And I think we should only have to call Hollywood before we could find maybe a dozen experts on the subject. If not, we could call governments around the world and find additional experts and authorities on all these subjects. There we go.
Okay, so here I have a question, and it's a little silly, but Stefan
Yeah.
Burns is going around and he shows us the sun, and the sun's freaking out, and it's throwing fireballs at us, and there are fireballs, launching themselves into the sun, committing suicide on bouncing off the sun, and then, it goes into the sun, and the sun goes like, I don't know, the sun is having diarrhea or something. So he's saying, oh, all the earthquakes. But then, somebody else is saying, yeah, the earthquakes and the sun, and that's very convenient. But like there's a tunnel system about 10 meters underground, and I think there are things going on in these tunnels that are more like nuclear bang bang shoot 'em up, and it causes there to be geological disturbances, shall we call them. So is it both? Is it one? Is it either? Is it neither? What's up with that?
Well, everybody should remember that the sun is the original God on this planet, right? And lately, I don't think the sun has been getting the adoration that he should. So even if you take what happened Sunday, which is a form of sun worship at some degree, but it's just so many, iterations removed from the reality of that big bright ball in the sky, right?
You know,
So, does the sun have an effect on earthquakes on the earth? Yes. Does the earth have an effect on earthquakes on the earth? Yes. And does mankind have an effect on earthquakes? Yes. After they developed up HARP and a few things like that, they were able to kind of figure that out, that they could cause those, or Tesla even invented a machine to do that. And it all came out of the Philadelphia projects. That's when they learned they could not only make things maybe disappear, but they could also cause disturbances in the space-time continuum. How's that?
yeah, okay.
So all the above. That's all the above, right?
Okay.
And it's just Mother Nature doing a remodel, you know? And when it doesn't do it where we want, we step into a system. So all of the Iran conflict is strictly a remodel job. Look at the one we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. We did such a good job of recreating the Stone Age that Trump wants to do it again. And why wouldn't you? Always go with your successes in life. That's what I have to say. And if anybody
Okay.
doesn't know what sarcasm is, they are missing out on all this the entire show.
It's okay. Sometimes it just goes past people and that's okay. It's just
Yeah,
not for them. We're on a different frequency.
yeah, yeah,
That's fine. I like
yeah.
riding the
So
frequency.
nature remodels, United States remodels, Russia remodels. I think it's a club that other people would like to aspire to, like Iran and Israel. But it's always the I's that want to join the me's, the me too's, or the me too's trying to join the I's, something like
Something. Me
that.
too's in the eyes. I think they're
We
all a
call
bunch
this
of hashtags.
that's what they call one step out, if you're trying to follow the logic of it. But you can call us and we'll explain it until you're deaf or understand, either one.
Oh my God. The selective deafness or so here, Project Artichoke, vaccine mind control. What's up with that?
Oh God.
Project I have an artichoke in my refrigerator. I mean, I'm not saying that's not a thing. I'm just saying I have an artichoke.
Somebody asked me one time, was I a hippie? And I go, was? So the amount of experimentation that went on in baby boomers, and now everybody wants to like raise hell about baby boomers. And I can only say, if you had been subjected to the amount of social engineering, mind control, and drug-induced states of mind, or out of your mind, plus all the spiritual and everything else they throw at you as supposedly the way to go, you would end up in a position that a lot of baby boomers find themselves now. And then we can't understand why their children can't relate to the world because we couldn't either. So it just shows to go you. That's what we
Well,
used to
there you
say.
go. But how sophisticated has it gotten? Like, and this is it. I was talking to a friend earlier, and she said, "Ask Randy a couple things." And I hopefully I wasn't too snippy, but I answered like because he's already answered these questions. But I don't know. I'm just trying to scroll. I shouldn't squint. I should put these thing. Okay.
There you
Oh, now, oh, look, I can see. Uh, she asked again about General McCaslin, and I said he's still dead. That was my answer.
go. Yeah. Yeah, 31 miles, let's see, magnetic, 21 degrees from wherever his home is. And, the thing about bodies don't have much longevity in the natural environment, we'll put it that way. You know, Nancy, McCaslin, the other 19 scientists that disappeared. They only tell you nine of them, but there's been more. So
Okay. And then I told her
but
that
anyway, yeah, yeah, he's still out of here.
he's
See,
still
when
going.
you leave a signature that's still able to interact with. It's like all these psychics and remote viewers. All you got to do is go to the person and ask them. There's generally enough uh, presence in that continuing energy field before it fully dissipates. That's why they used to wait 3 days after somebody died before they'd bury them, right? All around the world,
And this
right?
is it. Like when my mom passed, I mean, not that I want a dead body hanging around in the room, but like she died at 8:18 a.m. and by 11 a.m. they were here hauling her body off,
Right.
you know, and they didn't cremate her. I think it was 3 days before they actually cremated her, but
Yeah.
I'm sure she was very confused wherever she was, and I left a window open because I didn't know what else
Well,
to do.
yeah, it's a rudeness to get thrown out into the blogosphere, we'll call it, and not know which way's up or out, right?
Yeah. Up,
So
out, and then they say, here's another one. The when they say, like, when you die and you see the light, some people say, do not go in there. Go the
no,
other
don't go
way.
there. No, it's a trap, right?
So you agree with that?
Yeah. You get into a basic question of what we call regeneration or reincarnation, right? And it gets into reincarnation. What do you call it? The hard drive gets wiped out, right? And if you regenerate more or less into the same body or another body, you actually can carry the information along,
Forward.
yeah, along with you, right? There's some
That
odd
this is
language
how
involved.
this is how there are little kids who remember being in the jet that whatever at the Twin Towers, you
Right.
know, and they insist they were in a plane and they heard screaming and whatever it was, and then in the building, and I don't know, people.
No, I had a lady bring me a 5-year-old. Uh, they were in Arkansas, and she said, he keeps telling me all these places and things. I said, just take him there and put him on the phone with me, right? So she took him to this little town and they drove around. He said, that's where so and so lives. That's where I used to live. That's where I
Mhm.
did this. That's where all of it checked out. And of course, our scientists, being befuddled and baffled, have no explanation, therefore they ignore it, right? Except for Dr. Bill Tiller, who was a friend of mine, or I was a friend of his. And he actually was doing some research to kind of bring that into some sort of what do you call it, formula,
Mhm.
be able to account for it. So he's gone now. So anyway, that's an example of what I call regenerance, not degenerous, but regenerous.
I'm the
So
only degenerate here.
yeah,
Maybe you feel
so
a little bit.
there's a distinction, and it calls into question. how many paths into being human. And of course, the one they ignore is where the, pardon my language, I almost said the word, where do souls originate and where do they go? All the religions are based on where you're going to go, all right?
Yeah, but
There's
where'd you come
no
from?
religion.
Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, no religion talks about where were you before you were here and what were you and how'd you get here and who the heck created this whole show. And it's not a person, so we can leave out all those pronouns.
What if it's AI?
I don't know. It's I've been looking pretty hard into it for the last 4 or 5 weeks about why do I not know what is the parameters of my consciousness or soul body, and why do I not know where it originated, how it originated, and how it got here? And of course, science won't touch any of that because they ain't got a freaking clue. The spiritual people don't have a freaking clue. They're making it up. And the religious people just want to tell you something
And get your money.
so you'll become a true believer and not ask any more questions because we'll wrap you on the knuckles with a ruler. Been there,
Well,
done it.
unless you're in a Baptist church, and then they're gonna tell you what they're gonna tell you, then they're gonna tell you what they're telling you, and then they're gonna tell you what they just told you to
Yeah.
really screw
Yeah.
it in there.
Oh. And then they have to have the closing, and then they have to have the second closing, and finally have the third closing. You talk about taking a bow after a Broadway play, right? That's exactly what's happening. Okay. So if you don't believe it, go to your local church and look at the first closing, second closing, third closing, and call me. Right? I'll explain it.
Okay, you can explain it and then ruin, pe break people's minds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what'll happen. Their minds will break. This is probably like, what is Tim Burchett going on, dadgummit, about the things that I've found, the things that I've seen? People are gonna just go nuts. But it needs, like, what is he going on about? What is wrong with him?
Who?
Tim Burchett,
Oh, wasn't he?
Congressman,
Huh?
Congressman Tim Burchett.
Oh, I thought you meant the one that wrote redneck books down in Florida.
No, although when he retires, he might be able to
Mhm.
read books about skateboarding in the Congress halls because he does
Yeah.
that, apparently.
Yeah. Mm. Just remember, dissociative psychopathic personalities are welcome here. There should be a sign at the United States Congress, right?
There should be a sign right on our website, like on our
And
show.
look at the number of people trying to get in there. That's what's kind of scary,
I've
right?
never tried,
Yeah, you got, you
never.
know, you got what they have? What do we have? Ding dongs. We had cupcakes and ding dongs. And what was the ones that were pink and kind of squishy? It was snowballs, right?
Oh
Is-
yeah, the white ones and the pink ones. I used to like I tried
yeah,
to get rid of the marshmallow. I didn't like the
yeah,
marshmallow stuff.
yeah.
I like the cookies.
That's Newsom. That's the squishy.
Gavin Newsom, is he the white
Yeah,
one or the pink one?
yeah, well, I mean,
Or
you
is he
don't take
both?
much imagination to figure that out. So anyway,
Maybe he alternates.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
Gavin.
Snowball Newsom, we got our new name there,
Well,
right?
so back to Louie Dewey. Um,
Yeah.
what, he fell off his bike? Doesn't did what is he trying to copy the alien Greer?
Oh,
That's
you
his
know,
new name, by the way. The alien Greer.
he said he hit a deer, and we have sympathy for the deer, and you know, you don't know if he hit a deer or he hit Jack Daniels going down the road, right?
Or if somebody came and hit him because he said the wrong
Yeah.
thing, just like McClaslin.
Well,
Next time he'll disappear without his phone and change
he
his
would have,
clothes before he leaves.
in his long career, he would have had to said something of value for nefarious forces to interact with him in that way. And I think anybody of a rational mind would find that there were uh, no utterances that would have provoked such a thing because they would have required a higher level of intelligence. Yeah. And that's presumes that he was an intelligence officer, whatever that is, because I think I'm an intelligence officer. And I hereby nominate myself as Emperor of the Moon. How's that?
I want to be
So
emperor of
they got
what?
to have one, right? You
You,
know?
well, Trump moon. It'll be the moon. He's president of the moon. Didn't he say that? That he was going to.
No, he has to become Emperor of the Moon, right?
No, he said he was going to be the That means he's the president of the moon. And that maybe it was the sketch. You know what? I'm now starting to conflate the people who do Donald Trump impressions and the things that they're saying with the things that he's saying because they're just all off the wall. The one guy who was impersonating him going, yeah, and the moon, and that means I'll be president of the moon. Yeah, like I don't do a good Donald Trump, but like the guy,
Oh,
like if we land on the moon and Artemis and whatever, and then and we'll put our flag there, and then I'll be president of the moon too. Like, oh my,
who,
wow.
who was it? Buck Rogers was fighting the Emperor, the evil Emperor. Who was that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You have to be an emperor on the moon. So, or the Emperor of Little America. That would work, right? I think it'd be a good title. I think he should ascend to that kind of level. How's that?
Hmm.
And of
Maybe.
course, this ascension may be in his future. You can't tell.
Well, I'll tell you what, then at least Melania and that robot could live happily ever after in some kind of
Oh
peace
yeah,
without getting
yeah.
annoyed by him every
I
5 minutes.
I found an AI thingy that will make a movie about Melania and the robot, right?
Oh no.
I
Oh,
think about making it a kid's book, but I don't know.
oh my. Would you, your timing, please, not when there's liquid in my mouth. I almost choked. Make it a children's book. Well, now that we know how to work that app or whatever, the program that I sent you for the book, it's good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. We could actually do that if you wanted to.
Which one?
The app that you're using for War Day or the program
Oh God,
you got.
yes.
What's
No,
it called?
that
I
has been
forgot.
a
The plastic
blessing.
spoon is like making me lose words.
Yeah, that and a couple other um, inputs have moved that along tremendously.
I'm
We're
so glad it's worth the $250 to get
oh
that
yeah.
program.
Well, we just
Especially if
did.
you have a lot of books. Like I just
Yeah.
had
Oh
that
no,
one
I've been putting in boxes like books I've already written that just need to be formatted and everything. I've got
just
about six of them, so
well, I think that program actually allows you to scan it in and then it takes it and it'll format it for you.
right, right. Yeah.
So that's even better. Like that you just sit there and scan and drink your iced tea or whatever.
Mm. Yeah.
It's relax and scan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been trying to figure out should I call people that uh, enjoy the books and find value in what I've given in it.
Mm.
Yeah, call them people on a warpath or people that are warheads or something.
Warheads, aren't those isn't that a candy that we used to eat?
Yeah.
Warhead?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like Pop Rocks. Back to that
Uh-huh.
again.
Yep, I
Oh,
remember those in bottle
that's what they're
caps.
doing. They're going to the moon to find out if there's Pop Rocks up there. Only they call them helium-3. That's their new
Hey,
Pop Rock that they get to put
helium
into
free.
the reactor.
The
Yeah.
dispensary down the street has Pop Rocks edibles. So it's like Pop Rocks and they pop, but they've got the THC in them, so they get you loopy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
that
I actually
deserves
have a pack in there. I don't really like edibles that much, but I still have a pack and they come
well,
in this.
that deserves an award for creativity in my book.
I
So
think so. I like
yeah,
it. They were actually pretty tasty. They weren't too sweet.
yeah.
Pretty good. They're pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. So
Anybody? interested in conversation tonight?
Well, we have our usual suspect.
Uh-oh.
Christina actually has some questions. Sometimes when she meditates, she feels like she's dead sitting, so she's getting some benefit like from relaxing and anxiety relief, but she's not much seeing or able to go inside, and she practiced guided meditations. Like, is there any advice you can give on how to help the meditation be more tangible or purposeful? Sometimes when she goes deeper into meditation, she falls asleep. So she's been doing it for about 4 years and she feels like she hasn't progressed much.
Okay. You can use meditation to um, generate a relaxation in the body. Okay. You can use it to slow down the thoughts and thought processes of the mind. And you can find some solace in the fact that you've done that. Okay. In other words, you can kind of like reward yourself at the end of the day or whenever by surviving everything that went on and also by kind of like congratulating yourself. That's one of the things I teach. Like you made it through the day. Congratulations. Now, there's another aspect of it though. You can use it to separate from yourself. And we just say that separate from the body, but it's also you can separate from your own mind to be able to explore it or to see what's going on with it. And that level of exploration is what they call deep meditation or deep Zen meditation or a psychotic episode. I mean, there's all these things that you end up being able to examine yourself. And and here we go. As soon as you do that, you're into these questions about, well, what is it that I'm looking at? When I look in the mirror, what am I looking at? Well, we'll call it human body. All right. What's looking at the human body? Well,
Right.
it's
What's looking back at you? Like
yeah.
what's
Well, it's
looking out of
there.
your eyes?
Yeah. Say our mind is looking at the human body. And then we'd go, well, our consciousness is the active or the operating entity, the CPU, central processing unit.
Mhm.
And then we go, the construction of that unit follows some sort of pathway, we'll say genetic. And at some point, you're going to get lost and go, if you can back up far enough, maybe you could turn your head and actually see where you came from, right? So, those levels of meditation, though, take a long time to come back from. So it takes you a while to get there and a long time to come out of it. And that's when you might find that you passed out for 3 or 4 hours. Like when we were doing it, it was not uncommon to kind of like slam back in your body and go, oh man, it's been like 5 or 6 hours that you were out, cruising the
Hmm.
universe, right? Or the cosmos is what we called it. So. So all those things are parts of meditation that they don't talk about. They just talk about, oh, you can relax or you can do this or whatever. But the next book, War Night, is where I'm talking about all that, about how you find out about all those things and what I found out about them. So there.
Cool. Well, I'm going to ask her third question second now because I feel like it relates to the first one and the second one sort of blocks the flow a little bit. So, doing and non-doing meditation practices. How does she find out which is best for her to practice?
Oh,
Hmm.
usually the way I teach it is, let's say you pull up to a stoplight and you decide to just sit there, and your choices are to go right or left or straight ahead. Let's say that's the only three choices, because reverse has been eliminated out of our consciousness or timescape or spacescape or whatever you want to call we live in, um, the continuum. And you just sit there and you don't make a conscious decision about which way to go, right, left, or straight.
Mm,
And somebody comes up and you just go into a daydream state, close your eyes, and somebody will come up behind you and honk the horn. And you will immediately press on the gas and go in one direction or the other, one of those three directions. Okay. And it's shocking because sometimes you'll turn right, sometimes you turn left, sometimes you go straight. Okay. So the ideal is to get yourself into the position where you can go right, left, or straight ahead. So in a meditation, you would get yourself to a still point, and then you'd have the alarm go off or something, right?
mm,
And or have somebody call you in 30 minutes, and it'll immediately shock you into action. Okay. And so the way it works is you hold one thought, like I should go right, left, or straight. Should I go or should I stay? If I go, there'll be trouble. If I go, there'll be double, right? And so knowing that, you would throw yourself into neutral so that the proper path opens up automatically the instant your consciousness moves and moves. And your consciousness will move in the direction you're supposed to go. And that may mean you move forward, move backward, move right or left, up or down, whatever.
mm,
So,
mm-hmm,
so as far as problems, it's like we look at the stock market. Let's say Tesla stock. There's two timelines. One of them is up and one of them is down. And, when you choose one of those timelines, you're agreeing to go down that timeline. Will it produce the results you want? Well, let's say you bought a call option on Tesla, and the timeline you chose was that it would go up, when in fact the other timeline is the one that's being energized.
mm,
And you will find that out, right? So it all comes down into your ability to pick a path that goes in the direction you want to go. And that's done non-consciously, by the way. No matter how much conscious and thinking and ration and reason you throw into it, you still don't know whether to turn right, left, or go straight ahead. But it will be revealed to you. So
mm.
the more you practice this, the better you get at picking which is the correct timeline or a timescape is a better language. So there.
Timescape. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you get neutral, is that the same as surrendering?
No,
No.
because when if you're truly neutral, then it doesn't make any difference. Like the world disappears as a language.
Mm,
If you get to neutral, the world disappears. And if you take one step back from neutral, you disappear. And that is
okay.
a heavy, heavy meditation to do. I've taught it, but like I said, we're back to that. You need somebody to kind of watch people for the next 5 or 6 hours until they can get back into their body, right?
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, see, like I don't know how, and I'm sure it was maybe a matter of maybe 1 second in time,
yeah.
but there's one one meditation I had, and I know you never have the same meditation twice, but this one particular meditation I was doing breathing exercises and pushing like the pressure
Mhm.
up, right? And I just thought it was silly. And as soon as I kind of went, whatever, and like I just stopped. Like I stopped trying and I thought this is just silly, whatever. In that moment, I was shooting through this colorful tunnel, like, and the colors were so bright, brighter than any neon 80s colors that you could imagine. It was very like shooting
Yeah.
down a water slide, and then it
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah. The fallacy of drugs is, first of all, you have to buy them. And the thing is, you have a consciousness able to create those type of experiences day in and day out. And uh, and it's just like the meditations I'm talking about, I've taught. People say, well, I learn to meditate. Well, they want to learn to meditate down to one or two, maybe three levels. They don't want to go all the way down to nine or 10.
What
And the
level is
reason
that though, going down a colorful shooting tube? Is there
that's
a
about
like
a fourth level,
fourth
right?
level?
Yeah. But when you get down to 10, you have no interest
Coming back.
in being. Yeah. No, that's true. It when the first one I did where I went down that deep, I woke up because I heard somebody going, "Come back." And I was like, "No."
Oh,
Right?
you
And
were rebellious.
I was
Okay.
about 22 years old and I could hear somebody going, "Come back, come back." And I go, "No, I'm not doing it." Right. And finally, I woke up to somebody rubbing my feet. And it was the yoga teacher. And she said, "Oh, you're back." And she goes, "Well, I have to go home." And I go, "Okay." Now, class was over at 9 o'clock. It was 12:30 in the morning. She had been rubbing my feet for like 2 or 3 hours trying to get me back in my body, right? And
Wow.
it's like, and remember what I said? No. So when you go down to those kind of levels, you're at the level of what do I call it? Bon Po. You're neither form nor function. You're neither form or energy, either one. You're not matter or energy. You kind of escape both of those into another realm
Is
that
that the formation realm though? Maybe that's where we're from. Is that realm?
no,
No?
it's even beyond that. Formation realm you're involved in when you're there. Uh, like I said, this is something that's been alluded to in some of the Tibetan texts and
Mm.
whatever, right?
Oh God.
Yeah. So anyways, there's the answer to your question, I hope.
Well, yeah, especially with my kibitzing in there. Okay, so she practices astral projection meditations, and sometimes she sees the roof of her house and other certain areas, but how does she know she's not making it up in her head and over analyzing things? But logic fails to explain. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, getting ahead of yourself. The first exercise would be to close your eyes and expand your energy field to um, suffuse your own body, number one. In other words, you would fill the container, your body, completely. And then you would step out, and this is what I teach, 3 feet. And then you step out 9 feet. And so what would go is the consciousness density or identity density of yourself extends to 9 feet, and completely suffuses, is that the proper word? Completely fills that space. And then you go, next step is to fill the room you're in. Now, we used to practice, again, I taught in class, you would practice feeling yourself, then the room, then the like block you live on, then the town, county, state, half a hemisphere, whole hemisphere. You just keep going. And you can get a long ways away. And here we are back to it. The farther you go, the longer it takes to get back. Now, I call that reach. How much reach do you have? And the answer is I can reach inside my own energy field out to 3 feet, 9 feet, 30 feet, 100 feet because I did those exercises. So that would be how I would tell her, don't do the astral projection until you can feel the space you're in and feel your immediate space because you want to be able to control that space to the exclusion of all other consciousness identities, entities, spirit attachments, monsters, even the people that you're around. If you sleep with somebody, you don't want their consciousness to be a part of the space you're filling. So now we go into how to exclude things and people, places, things from your space and from your identity. And that's the trick. And
Well, yeah, that's a
that's
good
the,
tool, especially in 2026, man.
yeah, that's the thing to learn. That's the thing I learned and the thing I'm trying to teach people in more day. Anyway,
Well,
go on.
so now I have a question. Every morning I do a meditation where I settle with my breath, and then I feel the space between my ears, and then I feel the space outside my ears out into space. And then the same thing with my throat. And then I go to my chest and then I shoulders and then I feel the space between my shoulders in the room. And then I keep extending until uh, it's kind of, and then I sort of do visualizations
Yeah.
and then I kind of sort of check in the things that I don't want to continue, and then I go back into how I want it to be, and then I kind of,
Okay. Well, that's manipulation. And see, that's where control of the space occurs first.
mm,
That's the proper.
mm.
And, theoretically, one person at a high enough level or an expansive enough level can control the space of an entire place. And then we look at somebody like Donald J. Trump, and you look at how many people's spaces he is controlling,
Wow.
right? So there you go.
Well, but
And
some people only want to control their own space. I'm not interested in
yeah,
controlling somebody else's
well,
space for the
but it
purpose.
doesn't mean there are not things, people, places, and things that aren't interested in controlling your space too. And welcome to social engineering, this media, and all the events that go on in the world because they are vastly entertaining to somebody, right?
Right. And I guess the trick also is what you said, as long as it's also vastly entertaining to you and you don't get all caught up in it. And
Yeah.
when your space is controlled by all this stuff versus, and again, you could be accused of being cavalier or
Oh,
not
yeah. Yeah.
passionate or
Selfish.
like, right.
Selfish.
So, well,
Yeah.
selfish in the good. Their definition of selfish
Or no, no. Our
and
definition
ours.
is that let's see, does it contribute to my well-being? That's your selfishness.
Correct.
And or contribute to well-being of others. And once you get there, only from a place of abundance, right? But the key element is, do you control your space, right? Do you control your mind? And then do you control your consciousness? Those are different. And then do you control the field that surrounds all that?
Hmm.
And everybody, to my knowledge, does not control the field. Very few people do. And because once you control the field, now you're in that what did you call it? Foundation creator stage where you are able to, I love the word manifest things.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
Right.
I
Yeah,
guess,
the better language is influence, by the way. So there.
right. Like remote influencing weather. Like
Yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
that's a
Oh, yeah.
real thing. Just like
Yeah.
you can poke at a cloud and put a hole in it.
Yeah.
That's a real
And
thing.
yeah, and I've done that, and that shows that we're interactive in more than one dimension, right? So I've been working on like, can I expand to include dimensional interactions that are not available to me in a normal course of human life? How's that? And the answer is yes. Other people have. They've done it through drugs or psychotic experiences or battle 40 days in the desert. That was real popular, right? So anyway,
Hmm. Hmm. All right. Next,
yeah,
asking when you calibrate and reset somebody's energy system, like you've done it to
yeah,
me on these shows before, right?
yeah.
She's asking what is actually happening. Matt tried to explain it, but she's not grasping the concept, and he said that you can explain it way better.
Okay. Okay, here's the basic formula is, are you 100% yourself? That's an easy question. And of course, most people can't answer that because they're biased towards whatever answers. In other words, they want to be right rather than truthful.
Mm.
So if you draw a big plus sign, that's how I tell people. On the horizontal bar, you put 100, 100. On the vertical, 28 and 36. And I use a Chinese symbol that I modified for this. The Chinese symbol, it means whole person under heaven. Okay. And so that was a concept I started working with, 50 years ago. But if you do that, then we'd say on the left, you're supposed to be 100% yourself, and on the right, 100% available, meaning your conscious is able to move in any direction without programming or bias or anything else. It's called freedom, by the way. And then the top 28 inputs, that's like acupuncture points where the energy flows into the human body. And then the 36 at the bottom is the voltage that runs along the spine. It's just like the human brain operates on about 20 volts. I mean, we're just talking about copper top batteries like in the Matrix movies.
Mm-hmm.
Say your first name.
Leanne.
So you're running about 97% self, 90% available, 20 inputs, and about 40 volts. And
That
it shows
bad or good?
because you're alive and you're energetic, and especially this time of night. So most people this time of night are running 2 or 3% themselves, zero availability, 5 to 6 inputs, and if they're lucky, 5 or 10 volts. That's it. So when I reset a person, I'm manipulating their energy field and eliminating anything that causes these numbers to not be at their highest levels. And the way I was trained is that I could extend my energy field. Remember, we were talking earlier about the filling up the room,
Mm-hmm.
that to include their energy field to the point that I'm interactive with it. And so what I do is change everything around to where you're 100% self, 100% available, minimum 28 inputs, but we can have 30 or 40 or 50, and we can run, and this is the secret part, we can run 100 volts, 200, 400, 1,000, 4,000 volts. We can run all kinds of voltage through that sphere or that space that you control. Okay. Now, I've done all that, and I do it regularly every day with clients that call me. And it's like, it's just more or less instantaneous on their part. It's shocking because their voice and everything changes. And that's how we tell that there's been a change in their energy state because of the work I do. Otherwise, it's all fantasy. So now, say your first name.
Leanne.
Hold on. Now, say your first name.
Leanne.
See your voice shifts, right?
Yeah.
See, see how the undertones come in and
Settled.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 100, 100, 80 inputs. Voltage is about 1,000. We're out to about 90 feet on our energy field. Like we can change that.
I
That's
just
why,
started perspiring.
yeah, no, that's the people flush
I mean,
because
you
all the
can
energy
see
flows.
like I'm
Yeah, yeah,
shinier like
yeah,
everywhere. I just got shiny
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. And so that's why all these people that think they're geniuses and have tons of money, they don't have the benefit of themselves. That's the language. Look how red you are, right? Yeah.
Karen, you are.
Yeah. So yeah, because it affects me too when I do that a little bit on the positive side. But
That's good
yeah,
to
all the
know.
people out there that are like run corporations, all the people like I just had a teacher call me. It was really funny. She goes, you worked on me about 24 years ago, and I need some help. And it's like I instantly reset her on the phone, right? And it's like phenomenal the change that occurs in their how they present themselves and how they talk and everything. I mean, this is crazy because I just bumped both of us way up the chart, right? So
There you
anyway,
go. Now we're
that's
all
what
hooked
it
up.
means. That
Uh-oh.
means to go into the world. Can you imagine? You walk out the door in the morning and you go into the world with no voltage and no presence and no nothing. And that's why War Day is to alleviate that, is to fix that and give people a path to be able to do it on their own. All
I
right.
feel like that's what's wrong with the
Otherwise,
people
call
in
me.
this building. Like they're all they none of them have any energy and they're all just cardboard. They've
Yeah,
been they've I don't know. It's so weird. Nobody has a personality and the ones who do like get it beaten out of them. It's so
yeah,
strange.
yeah. It's like, just say dear old Vlad's first name.
Vlad.
Vlad is running, let's see, where is he at? Hold on a moment. Oh, he didn't like that. Hold on. He's running 50% himself. That's very high. Most people run 2 to 5%, maybe 10, 20 if they're great. He's running 30% available, 15 inputs, and about 20 volts. That boy needs some energy, right?
Well, maybe he should call you.
And then how about DJ, right? Say his first name or initials.
Donald.
No. 14% himself, availability negative, inputs zero, energy zero. You see how people would benefit by being able to do this to themselves or be able to have me do it. I mean, just think of how much better you would be. How about like
I know. I want to say another
let's go
name.
with Elon. Let's deal with
No.
Elon.
No,
Say
no, no, no. First. It's just too much of a sausage fest right now, Randall. Randall, we've got to get a couple of boobies in there. How about Melania?
oh my gosh. Melania,
Melania.
hold on a moment. I'll find her.
She's
Same
a
thing.
robot.
Golly, she's running 30%. That's good. 40% available, 15 inputs, and about 19 volts. The same thing. See, most people energize at night and then the energy goes down and they energize at night. And the answer is no. We were taught to maintain whatever level of energy we wanted to maintain, right?
Yeah,
Or
whenever.
wanted, or wanted to perform at. And that is tremendously different. Nobody teaches it as far as I know except me. So there.
Well,
And
you
then
know,
who else? Oh, Elon. Let's deal with
okay,
Elon.
okay, all right. Have it your way. Elon.
Percentage self 9, available 0, inputs 1. It's like energy is like off the freaking charts. He has like thousands of volts. That's why he's like Energizer Bunny times a million, right? And so if you have energy, you don't need much consciousness. You just like you're just driven, okay? Like all this, any person we can identify and then tap into their energy and information field because it's all out there. It's like the cloud. It's like, NSA and all of them go, oh, we're trying to collect all this data on people. Why? Just know their first name and you can go find them, right? You can find out all the information that ever existed about that person. So,
Is it the first
or
name and the identification in the thought form that's being projected?
well, I'm just identifying their kind of like their little information bubble,
Because how
right?
many Donalds are there in the world? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but your intent is when
Right,
you had.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm thinking of that Donald. So when I say his name, it's going to be that
So when somebody says somebody's name, it generally means they have we'll say a connection.
a context,
Yeah, no, a
a
connection.
connection.
Yeah, and that can be formed, independent of actually physically ever meeting them.
But does that give you a context when you say somebody's
Well,
name?
it gives me a pathway to
Do.
identify and and uh, and then to interrogate their information field for the information. Okay, so there.
Had you only taught special forces how to do that,
I actually have taught a couple. Uh, uh, one female and one male have gone through this process of me teaching this to them. So
interesting.
yeah, the
Well,
rest of them fell out.
Couldn't handle it, like couldn't do
Yeah,
the
well,
work.
yeah, because you get to a certain level, there's uh there's no more mystery about any particular person because you can come up with all their information kind of like immediately.
So then what? It gets boring because it's not
Yeah,
challenging. I mean,
there there's some problems that occur. If you think about you had all the information in the universe available to you, well, we call that the internet, but you're not using it that way. You're using it for entertainment,
hmm.
not using it for enlightenment or for education. And
Well, most people. We've
yeah,
talked about that before.
those are available. I use it for education, right? So anyway,
Hmm.
next question.
How big of an energy field do the Tibetan monks and throat singers from other cultures put out due to their engagement in chants?
Um, they call it trumbo or something like that. Throat singing. They're probably running up to a 200-foot energy field.
Not surprising.
And you know it because they're vibrating. Remember, you feel your space. They're vibrating that space. And uh, one time I was in France and I went to an old convent or monastery, something. And they had a room where all the ovens were, where they did their baking. But it was all stone, stone floors and walls, and it had a dome ceiling, like a half dome. And all the other people in the tour were out of the room, and I took one deep breath. And Vanna goes, "Don't do it." And I go, I did on properly.
Mm-mm.
That place vibrated. I mean, like you
Don't
would,
do it. I can just hear her.
yeah, it vibrated like. So what happened is I filled that space. We're talking 100-foot long, 20-foot wide, 20-foot ceilings, right? So to be able to vibrate that much space requires you to be able to vibrate that much space. And most people have never been taught how to do that. So there.
Well, that brings me to question number three. I'm doing this again with this is Matt, by the way. We've now moved from Christina to Matt. Can Matt's engagement and use
Provocateur.
yeah, the provocateur. First it was the
Okay.
wifey. He let the wifey go first. How right?
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. This is wife. What's her name?
Christina.
Christina.
Miss
Right.
Christina. That all of those questions before were hers. And then Tibetan monks, that's him. Can his engagement and use of sound or chants help with his ability to listen and expand his awareness?
Yeah. Sound is a vector.
Mm,
Okay. And and assuming the movies, what were they called? The Last Airbender, right?
mm, mm-hmm,
So air is a vector, water is a vector, sound's a vector, earth is a vector, ether is a vector, right? You just keep on going. The ability to master any one of those, that's what used to take decades for people. And the other thing we find is people are generally not interested in dedicating decades to learning one particular thing or to examining to the fullest something like sound, which we call the sound current, or the nod, NAAD. You can look it up, right? But
mm-hmm,
sound current is, you see references in that comic book, the one where they brought the walls of Jericho down and stuff.
mm-hmm,
And so sound is a biggie. And that's what I was doing when I was doing the mantra in the convent. And but I used to do like in a library, I'd teach classes and we would fill that room not with sound, but with vibration and frequency. And here we go into all that. So there. So
mm-hmm.
the answer is vibration, frequency, and sound and volume, and to be able to resonate the space you're in. At first, you resonate the body, and you learn to that's all up here, and then you learn Mm.
It's different. There's a breath called bumblebee breath. Doing that sent me into a completely different
Oh
space.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we were doing Shavasana after class, and it kind of took, I heard the teacher going, I guess we're waiting for Leanne to come back. Leanne, like,
yeah,
gotta come
yeah.
back. Hello,
Yeah,
Bueller.
same thing.
And then,
Yeah, you get far away.
right. And when I came back, everybody in the virtual room said, you look different. Where'd you go?
Oh yeah. No, I've worked on people where the person sitting in front of me wasn't the person that was sitting in front of me when we started.
You
So
know?
yeah, it's pretty shocking sometimes. Anyway, so
So
yes, master the bubble. How's that?
master the bubble. That could be
You're
the
on
name of
bubble
this
again.
episode. Mastering the bubble. I'll try to
Yeah.
remember that one. Okay.
Find
Um,
30 people and I'll teach them that, right?
30 is the magic number.
Yeah.
Okay. Does everything really happen for a reason, or are there just some random things thrown in like accidents
No.
that may in
Re
the end be a learning tool but didn't happen for any reason?
Reason and ration are a trap because they're not capable of identifying or providing uh, the answers that we want. So it's more ration and reason is a construct of how we choose to interact with information and energy. And it's something we develop or been beat into us, and in no way is it perfect. And so one of the requirements is that you go beyond ration and reason. And of course, at that point, they consider you a mystic or crazy or Carlos Castaneda, somebody writing a book about how bad he was. And all he was doing is presenting imagination as something to be explored. So there.
Okay.
And imagination does not follow the rules of ration and reason. And that's why science is incomplete and incoherent, my
I was gonna
opinion.
say incompetent, but okay.
Well, and incompetent. We would throw another I in there. I.
Yeah,
Okay.
aye. Exactly. Vanna would say the same thing, I'm sure.
Right.
Okay, so did you ever get to look at any really interesting ancient texts or manuscripts when you were learning Kung Fu? If so, what was they? He said, what were they? I'm just,
Um, most of the teachings I received were verbal.
hmm,
Okay. There were some, and particularly in Native American culture, that were done by what was called direct transmission. And direct transmission between a teacher and a student is where their information is available to you and is not transmitted orally or written or visually, right?
hmm.
Or auditorily, right? It's a direct transmission. And it's something unique to martial arts where at certain levels, information comes to you by direct transmission. And so one of the things we look for is a student capable of reaching a level of competence to be able to receive direct transmission to where I can transmit all the information, teaching, or learning they need on that subject. And of course, we see an instance of that in the Matrix movies where they strap Neo into a chair and load up a program and download, and he goes, I know Kung Fu. All right.
Hmm.
Now, I didn't learn it, I know it. Okay. And that's why, like, the difference in a person who knows Kung Fu versus somebody who learned it, right, is tremendous. Okay. So I hope that answers the question.
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, and that just goes back to vocabulary, words, using them correctly, using correct vocabulary if possible, because what
Yeah.
two words to describe the same thing are two different things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. To go into synchronization with another person, like don't know how many tantric yoga courses and client or not clients, but people that I've worked with, where there's a set of exercises. I do the initial ones 31 minutes,
Mm.
and you go into complete synchronization with the other person's consciousness. And it's like after that, you're forever kind of like connected to them. All right. So most people don't like that. Um, we do it by happenstance, like through marriage and this, that, and the other, but all that's done non-intentionally. And so when you sit down and do the meditations and the connections uh, of those exercises, um, you can, I mean, I've done them for 2.5 hours or 5 hours or 7.5 hours over 3 or 4 days. I mean, it's like your existence and theirs and the data exchange becomes very high. I'll put it that way. Information exchange and energy exchange occurs at a level that most people have no concept of, right? So remember, same thing as filling a bubble. The same thing as having 1,000 volts in your energy field as opposed to 15 or 20. Call me, Elon.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Do you have the energy or do you want to put them
Oh
on?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
wound up now.
Oh, uh-oh. The moment we arrive back in our body from a dream, there seems to be a lag time back to bodily awareness. Is this similar to a computer buffering or is it information compression capability?
Well, we we don't enter back in the body, we enter back into the interface with the body.
Mm,
Okay. And buffering is a proper language. Okay. It's um it's also one of the things we try to eliminate or take control of is that interface and that buffering process and in our own selves, and then we try to disrupt that in our opponents, right?
mm,
So all psyops are disruption of your own interface. They're dysfunctional, or what they call it, uh, noise. Let's just use. If I can introduce noise into your interface, then you're incapable of making decisions or coming to conclusions or moving forward. And of course, that's what we see in the world today with all the um, psyops, information, whatever, media.
yeah. Yeah, that's the feeling I feel when I walk into the street with all of the individuals out there. It just feels like
Yeah,
static.
yeah,
Like
it
white,
is. It is.
it's like when you have snow on an old fangled
Yeah,
rabbit ear TV. It's just
yeah,
snow. And if it's not snow, it's the looping
yeah.
bars that like you can't get it to settle. It's just like flip, flip,
Say
flip, flip,
your
flip.
first name. Say your first name.
Right. Oh, because I'm talking about this stuff now, getting whooped up. Leanne.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Oh, that's not bad. Your level of static interference is level of 2, right? On a 1 to 10 scale, right? But we'd like to be immune to it, right?
right.
So hold on a second. Mine's about zero point 0.7. I've been eliminating it, but now we're both at 0. There you
Thank you.
go. Right.
Merci.
So now you can be out and notice it, but not be involved in it. That's the key.
Brackets closed.
Yeah, that's it.
Why do Native Americans use dream catchers? Matt and Christina have one and they always love them, but why would want, oh my goodness, why would one want to catch their dreams? Catch their
Okay.
dreams.
There was, I'm gonna use language. There was some engine that one day woke up and decided that he'd basically take a fishing net and invent something called a dream catcher, right? There is no such thing, okay? None, okay?
Okay.
But most Native American communities place a lot of attention on dreams and their origination and content and everything else. And so did the Romans and Egyptians and Greeks and every other person, especially the Chinese and Japanese. So if you look around the world, dreams are very interesting things, and that's part of the War Night book that I'm working on. Is a big part of it is what those are and how they occur and what we do with them. But remember the static. That's what I would tell you. But so dream catchers are a provocation, creation, and they absolutely have no validity. And every Indian in the world that promotes that should call me because they hate me for telling people that.
Well, it's a fun thing to make, I guess, when you're doing arts and crafts. How's that?
Yeah. And all I would do is ask anybody to tell me what dream they caught, right? Yeah, a very simple thing. It's kind of like, show me the UFO, the flying saucer, show me the alien. Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with asking somebody to actually do that? Lou, little Lou.
Louis with
Yeah,
your head, his head looks awful. Like he already looked like a shrinking Cabbage Patch doll a few weeks ago.
yeah. It's just that, they say you become the people you're around. Okay. And then you look at Greer.
Well, wow.
That, yeah, that's
Wow. The
gotta make,
alien Greer, it makes all
yeah,
the more sense.
gotta make you wonder what life has done to that boy.
Well,
So anyway,
maybe when you say show me an alien, you just got to bring Dr. Greer in the room. No?
that's true. That's true. I hadn't thought of that.
So
Right?
maybe there is an
We
alien
may,
and he is
we may
walking
be onto
among
something because when he
us.
was at the National Press Club, he might have been the only alien in the room. We don't know.
Hey, man, it's possible. That's his people he keeps trying to protect. And I'll tell you what, we keep carjacking the aliens and reverse
Yeah.
engineering their stuff. So, like, what's to say when Artemis 2 or Orion or whatever's going on out in space right now, what if they get carjacked? Then what? Now
Yeah. Or
what?
what if they're not only there to do drive-bys, but to do a carjacking on their own? We don't
Well,
know
you
what's on the
never know what
backside
they're
of them.
doing up there. They might be bringing back tethering a whatchamacallit so that they can get
Yeah.
helium-3 and the iridium off of it, an
Right.
asteroid.
Right.
What do we know?
Right. Yeah.
Asteroid
The,
hunting, like Elmer Fudd.
yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
just think they were to send me and a couple of my redneck buddies up there to see what the truth is, right? Because you're never going
you
to
could
get
go
it from
tip
these
an
people.
alien
Yeah, you're never going to get the truth from these people. I promise you, right?
ever.
Right.
You'll get the truth faster learning. This is what I told Linda. She was asking me ask Randy, what's the truth? Like, and I thought, you know what? There's the truth, like the water and ether, and that's right there.
Yeah.
Elements, that's truth. But then you have people who have perception, interface, interference, all this stuff. So then you have 8 billion truths about the truth. So then it gets complicated, you know? So then I just flipped to her and said it's subjective and unique, just like reality, I guess, unless you're talking about perennial truths, I suppose we could call them.
Well, the primary objective, let's say, is to be a good observer.
Hmm.
Okay. And then we go, well, you're observing it with what? Your consciousness, your mind, your soul, something. And then we go, well, what if I was able to utilize 1 million of those? What if I was able to use 1 trillion? And like, let's say I have 100 trillion cells. Each one of them is conscious. What if I
And
could use
doing their
all of
own
them?
job, right?
Yeah, what if I used all of them to be able to examine any subject or place in the universe? How's that? That's what I'm working on, right? Is to be able to harness the consciousness of my own observation and extend it into more space, more people, whatever you want to call it, right?
Well, I would say you probably got a better shot at figuring that out, knowing how to fill your space and then fill the space with you. Like all of that exercise that you've been doing for a long, long time can only
Yeah.
be your friend in this compartment. So that's good.
Right.
All right, are you ready for the last question? Oh no, there are two more. I don't
Okay.
know. Do you want number five first or number six first?
Um, 5.
When people have an orgasm, we can obviously see the physical results, but what's actually happening energetically?
Short circuit.
Okay.
You're shorting your. It gets into an interesting subject, not orgasm. Is that you scoot your feet along on the carpet and touch a metal knob,
Right,
and
and then
you
you get the electric shock.
they call it a discharge, right? Interesting. And so the ideal is that you're short circuiting your own energy field. Okay. And then we go, well, that charge has to go somewhere, right?
Right,
And then we would say, like to have a mutual discharge, which would be a equal exchange of energy. Let's leave it
right.
at that.
Yeah. Okay.
But in martial arts, you can do a discharge of your energy field. Remember how much energy we have in our bubble? You can do a discharge into a person and drop them like a rock from just a single touch. They call it dip mark. And so, and then if you want to know the crazy thing, I had a group of nurses in Indiana. They paid for me to come up there and I was teaching them how to work on babies and that were sick or had problems and
Mhm.
neonatal unit. And there are about 35 of them in the class. And I went through teaching them how to, what would be the equivalent of Reiki, I guess, today and years ago. And one of the ladies brought up the subject of orgasm. And I said, well, it's easy. You just need to cause the energy to flow in that direction, we'll call it. And they go, well, how does that work? And I said, well, I need a volunteer.
Uh-huh.
And so they volunteered one of the women in the front row, and she came up there, and I said, is this okay with you? I mean, and she goes, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm just going to touch you on the wrist and elbow and the back of the neck. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And is that okay with you? Right? Now, the thing about it, if you touch somebody on the wrist with no intent and no energy, that's different.
Right,
But if you touch them with energy and with an intent to produce an energy flow in the body, that's different. Okay. So what do we do? One, two, three. And she basically had an orgasm right there in front of 35 people. And it was stunned silence. And at that point, I had a handler with me, right? And she goes, we got to go.
gotta go now. Time
She
to leave.
dragged me out of there and we left town. Now,
Wow.
I saw the lady who put it on. I saw her 20 years later at a conference, and she goes, I want you to know that we still practice the techniques that you taught us at a hospital in Indianapolis. So,
That's beautiful.
yeah. So these are things that have practical, you think about one way, like say orgasm, but you can think about it other way as you're transmitting or increasing or causing an increase in life force. And if you can do that, you can help anybody in the world. So there, and yourself. So, so there.
I like it. Okay, last question. Ding, 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 ding. Have you, have you ever thought about how our incarceration system can be changed to actually assist and reform? Someone once suggested making a room of mirrors at almost every angle to actually see yourself, and he has no clue if that's a good idea, but it makes sense. I don't know if, and I'm just going to say this, why would you surround somebody with mirrors like portals? so that they could just
Yeah, there's
that's a bad idea, I feel
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Very bad idea.
Well, the easiest way to put it is that people who are incarcerated or crazy or should be incarcerated or crazy are unable to see themselves. And remember what we said at the beginning about the meditation. The
Hmm.
object is to be able to see yourself. Like
Right.
when you separate, like in deep meditation or whatever, you should be able to see yourself. So people call it astral travel, but astral travel means you're kind of like, we'll use language, you're moving away from yourself. And we don't want to do that. We want to step outside enough, separate enough to be able to observe yourself. So Colin Wilson wrote a book called The Outsider in the 50s. There's several books and movies, different names. But in it, in the first like 15, 20 pages, he talks about somebody separating from themselves from the dining table and being outside the dining room window looking in.
Mm.
That's what we're talking about. To be able to observe yourself from another viewpoint. Okay. And now we get into the distance of that viewpoint and intensity and pattern recognition and identity. It gets into a big, deep subject. So there.
Okay. Well, I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is your buddy Joe Dispenza tells the story about when he was doing the dishes one time and he felt like there was somebody looking at him, and then he had a meditation and he was looking inside at himself doing the dishes in the meditation. And so that they're this
Yeah, that's
soft,
separation. Yeah.
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 So
So,
anyway,
and
okay.
it's funny, separation's induced two ways. One is through pain, and the other one is through enlightenment, we'll call it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot
So,
of people in pain separate and watch themselves get operated
yeah,
on after
yeah.
traumatic injuries like car crashes and stuff like that.
I don't recommend that path. Been there, done that.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not the fun one.
Yeah. Okie dokie, we
Wow.
were everybody out, so we're good. Brr, brr.
Yeah, she's very content. She was very quiet and well behaved tonight.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, Randala. I'll see you next Monday. Behave yourself.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.